good morning, afternoon, or evening. My name is Adam Krinkowski, and I am a German translator and tutor in the Akron area. I am reworking Module 5 entitled Language Complexity. First, let's ask ourselves, why is language complex? When teaching students difficult aspects of grammar or spelling, you may come across a curious student asking why. For example, why is thought pronounced the way it is? Why is an English verb placed after a subject but changes position during a question, and so on? Part of knowing the answer to this question is for a teacher to be language aware. The idea of language complexity coincides with the history of language. Language is constantly evolving through time, and with it taking elements from its original form. In the case of the word thought, we know that Christian missionaries came to Anglo-Saxon England with their Roman alphabet and were tasked with fitting it into the language that already existed there. Scribes had to come up with ways to spell sounds like th and ch, which eventually led to the word we know today. Here's how the word thought has evolved over time. So we see the answer to the question why is never easy, but it just is never good enough. Let's take a look at a fun, complex word in German, der Schattenpake. German has all sorts of fun ways of insulting different individuals. A popular example is Schadenfreude, or taking joy in one's misery. With Schattenpake, are you familiar with any words? We can break this down as Schatten and Pake. We can recognize the English cognate Parker and move from there. Can you tell what part of speech this word is? We know that the English Parker is a noun, therefore we can also assume that German Schattenpake is a noun as well. I'll give you a hint in that Schatten is the German word for shade. Knowing this, we have the fuzzy translation, shade Parker. What sorts of images come to mind with a person who parks in the shade? A long, complex, explicit translation of this word is a person who takes up a parking spot in the shade, inhibiting individuals who may require a cooler vehicle, such as people with health issues in the heat, or as German likes to know it, a wimp. Generally, most children are grammatically competent speakers of their mother tongue by age 5. This, of course, depends on environment. Reading and writing skills develop later, usually after competence in a student's mother tongue. Development of first language acquisition may benefit learners of another language. A student with little literacy in their mother tongue can develop oral skills faster than reading and writing. However, we must be aware that if a student is literate in their first language, they may develop writing skills faster than oral skills in another. While volunteering at Jennings CLC, I was tasked with administrating a spelling test to a new student who was out sick. The student, Omid, is an Afghan refugee literate in Arabic, his first language. One of the spelling words, battle, Omid omitted the vowels from the word, spelling battle as B-T-T-L. Interestingly, Arabic also omits vowels in written language. Vowels are an afterthought. Knowing Omid's linguistic history is important, as it gives us clues as to how we may interpret a second language and how to address future issues. Also, we have the idea of reading readiness, and that children are not developmentally ready to read until they reach a mental age of 6.6. Having this idea in mind severely limits students as their environments are different. Students may learn skills at different speeds, or students may be sufficient in some reading readiness subskills while lacking in others, such as they may be able to identify colors, but may not be able to match letter sounds. The emergent literacy perspective states that children began written language knowledge from the moment they are first exposed to reading and writing, at home and possibly from the time of birth. Children are immersed in different social environments. They take note as to how the written word is used in the world around them. During my last day as a volunteer at Jennings, the students took a field trip to the North Hill Branch Library. We set on foot with 30 students, and I acted as the anchor in the back of the group. Sagat, a Nepali student, commented on the unusual heat during the day and began reading all the interesting street signs along the way. One place of business of particular interest, VIP Cuts, puzzled Sagat. He read the abbreviation VIP as one word, or VIP. Seizing the opportunity, I let Sagat know that VIP is an abbreviation where each letter corresponds to a particular word, in this case, very important person. A great teaching moment influenced by Sagat's environment on that day. In order to promote classroom participation, we must create meaningful opportunities for our students. We must also be aware of teacher talk and create opportunities for our students to speak with one another. We see that teachers do 65 to 95% of the talking. Remember, learning is a social activity. It's also important to create instructional events for students, such as paired readings, group research on a specific topic or group work at learning centers, brainstorming a writing topic, talking the news, such as a student to bring in an article that they previously read and share the event with the class, and/or visiting quietly while carrying out tasks. Creating a comfortable classroom atmosphere with various ways to participate increases the chances for quieter students to speak up and be heard. A comfortable classroom is a structured one. Can you think of a time in class where you didn't feel comfortable? For example, the subject matter was confusing, or the activity taking place wasn't relevant to the source material? Did you feel as though you wanted to participate? Social context plays an important role in communication. Context is everything important to communication. It's also important to set parameters of formality or politeness to guide linguistic choices. Social context consists of the setting, speakers, and the social and power relations among them, such as register, etiquette, age, and so on. Language forms include choices of words, grammar, and pronunciation. Language functions are the communicative intentions or purposes of the speaker's utterances. In Table 5.1 from our text, we see Halliday's functional categories for oral language use. Looking at Table 5.1, we can expand on the different varieties of communicative functions. We can use different classroom experiences to suit the needs of our students. This table outlines group work for creating comfortable opportunities for quieter students to participate. Keep in mind that a structured routine for students helps support a comfortable schedule in order for them to adjust effectively. We must be able to recognize our speakers based on their proficiency, beginners versus intermediates. Remember, we should never hold a student from an activity based on language proficiency, and all students, regardless of proficiency, can benefit from participating. We must never force beginners to speak, as they will naturally develop communication as time passes. Beginner language serves highly functional communicative payoffs, such as no, okay, and I don't understand. We can provide social-emotional support, assign a beginner with a buddy, and create a home group. You may find beginners gravitating towards speakers of their mother tongue. Partnering the beginner with a buddy shows them the functional routine of the day, and the buddy should accompany them throughout. A home group will support classroom functions. Here, we can set up nonverbal participation. For example, the beginner will color or paint a thematic project. You will see that small group activity promotes language use, creating an opportunity for language acquisition. Remember to also use sheltering techniques such as gestures, paraphrasing, and checking for understanding. Intermediates have basic interpersonal communication skills. You will find that intermediates will still of course make errors, and we must hold off on overcorrection. It's important to focus on meaning and show interest while responding with and modeling effective grammar. Also, consider intermediates as a buddy for beginners, as this will allow them to develop their own language knowledge and provide meaningful responsibility. Hello, Alex.
Hi, Adam.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Here we are on location Mars.
Okay.
How do you feel being the first humans on Mars?
Space Force.
Okay. All right, let's start with our warm-up.
Okay.
So, let's say it together.
Okay.
All right.
My dame hath a lame tame crane. My dame hath a crane that is lame. Pray, gentle Jane, let my dame's lame tame crane feed and come home again.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Do you know any other vocal warm-ups?
I do.
Okay.
Any noise annoys an oyster, but a noisy noise annoys an oyster most.
Very good. Nice. All right. So today, we're going to talk about lexical ambiguity. First, we're going to go with the Sapir-Whorf hypothesis. Will you go ahead and read the definition?
The way we think is affected by the language we speak.
Do you agree?
The way we think is affected by the language we speak. Yes.
Okay. So, for example, we speak English, of course.
Yeah.
Do you think someone who speaks French is thinks differently than we do?
I would say to some extent, yes.
Okay. Yeah, so for example, a community that lives in the desert, there's not a lot of water around.
Uh-huh.
So they have limited words for fish and sea life.
Oh, okay.
Things like
Got
that.
it.
So you can say that their language limits what they can think about fish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or, if they are exposed to more fish, they can borrow words from different languages or create their own.
I don't know if this is like anecdotal, but I've heard before like Inuit people have like, so many words for snow.
Sure. Yeah. So they might think that our one word for snow is quite limited.
Yeah.
Right? So we don't have different words for types of snow.
Yeah. Snow,
All right. So let's go ahead and watch a fun video here. I'm going to go ahead and get that set up.
Consider the following sentence. The same letter combination, O-U-G-H, appears repeatedly throughout the sentence, but the sounds are different every time. Though I coughed roughly and hiccuped throughout the lecture, I still thought I could plow through the rest of it. This incredible inconsistency can make English really hard to master for non-native speakers. But what if English were phonetically consistent? Let's consider the letter A. The letter A can represent a number of different sounds. Even ignoring its combined sounds, like AR or AW, you can get such diverse sounds as father, ape, and apple. Let's take the first of these, ah as in father. Now, ah is not alone in having different options for how it can be pronounced. Let's consider the vowel E. Neglecting combination sounds like ER, we can still produce some strange different pronunciations such as rewrite, elk, and one. Let's talk the first of these again. E as in rewrite. Of course, this means that silent E's at the end of words will now also be vocalized. Moving on, let's consider the vowel I. Ignoring combination sounds like IR or ING, this vowel can produce these sounds, likey, igloo, and deviati. Again, talking the first of these, we'll pronounce the I as in likey. Let's now turn our attention to the vowel O. Without combination sounds, we can style get a few options. Pony, on, and one. Let's select the first one of these, O, as ein pony. Having no made these selections, we are left with only vowel, U. The vowel U can sound like a dice, rule, run, or put. While again remind the listener that dice is somewhat arbitrary, we will select the first of these, U, as ein rule. Putting these all together, we can hear how English would sound if it were consistent in the pronunciation of vowels. Let's consider a passage from a Shakespearean soliloquy. To be or not to be? That is the question. Whether to
All right, and we're back. So
Hi.
what did you think of the video?
I had a laugh.
You had a laugh?
Yeah. And then I pretty much had to read the closed captioning once we got to O.
Mm-hmm.
I could no longer understand him.
Mm-hmm.
It was tough.
So English is weird that way, right? So we
Mhm.
have like 3 different vowel sounds for like every vowel.
Yeah.
Thinking about maybe like other languages, can you think of any ways that we could possibly remedy that?
Would it be like an accent mark or something? Some kind of augmenting the character?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you
You'd stress the vowel.
yeah, so the name Abraham,
Mm-hmm.
each A is pronounced differently.
Yeah.
But in other languages they know it as Abraham,
Yeah.
right? So each A is consistent throughout.
Totally.
Did it sound maybe like any other languages?
I think he just kind of started to sound just like generally like foreign. You know?
Generally foreign, yeah. I get that. I guess to me, maybe when he was really going at it, and all the vowel sounds were consistent throughout, it sounded maybe a little bit like Old English.
Oh, okay.
Maybe.
And that's the kind of way you got to that Shakespeare piece.
Yeah. So, you can see, like, through time, like, the spelling of the words hasn't really changed.
Just the way we've stressed things. And...
the way we pronounce things has changed. Okay. So moving on. So, lexical ambiguity, our theme today. So, if you could go ahead and read the definition, please.
Okay, so lexical ambiguity is the presence of two or more possible meanings with a single word.
Such as, the rabbi married my sister. How can you interpret that sentence?
So you can interpret it as the rabbi is the one being wed to your sister, or the one who is marrying your sister in a ceremony.
Right. So, of course, with lexical ambiguity, we do run into some issues. It, of course, can also be funny. Here we have a little joke. Somebody actually complimented me on my driving today. They left a little note on the windscreen. It said, parking fine. So that was nice. Yeah. So what's the meaning of parking fine there?
Parking fine means that you are not parking well and you are being ticketed. Or parking fine could be like, hey, parking pretty good there.
Yeah, so this comedian took parking fine quite literally, right? And you see how my intonation changes too?
Yes.
You're parking fine, a parking fine, right? Okay, some other possible ambiguous words. We have match, bear, bank, duck, bat, etc. Can you think of any others?
The animal examples are good.
So bank is a good one.
Yeah.
You have a river bank.
Sure.
And the institution, a bank.
Yeah. I can't think of any off the cuff right now.
That's okay. Maybe it'll come to you. No problem.
Okay.
All right. So we're going to look at some sentences here. And think about how they can be... how they can be confusing or ambiguous.
Oh, box.
Box. Box is a great one.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and read the sentence here. We have put the box on the table by the window in the kitchen.
Okay. Put the box on the table by the window in the kitchen. Box on the table.
Read it aloud. Maybe it'll...
Put the box on the table by the window in the kitchen. I mean, the problematic part is, like, by the window in the kitchen, right? It's like the sentence order is incorrect.
It's not necessarily incorrect.
Okay.
But it can be, misunderstood in different ways. So the table is by the window, and the window is in the kitchen.
Yeah.
So that's one interpretation. Another, put the box, which is on the table that's by the window, in the kitchen.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Or we can put the box on the table. That table is by the window in the kitchen.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
The next one.
Okay. I know the words to that song about the Queen don't rhyme.
Yeah. I know the words to that song about the Queen don't rhyme.
I'm confused by this one.
Let's go ahead and take a look. I know that the words to that song about the Queen don't rhyme. Right? That's how I interpreted it.
Yeah.
I know that the words to that song is about the Queen who don't rhyme.
Okay, got it.
Yeah?
Yeah, I was only getting the first one.
Okay. Let's try this one. This one's a little easier, I think.
Okay.
We painted the wall with cracks.
Yeah, it sounds like you're adding cracks to the wall.
Yeah.
Not painting the wall that has cracks.
Exactly, yeah. So we painted the wall with cracks.
Oh, or with a crack, yeah.
Type design. We applied cracks on the wall. And we painted the wall that has cracks in it. Which is probably what that means.
Yes.
I know more beautiful women than Penelope Cruz.
I mean, I think than is often confused with then.
Sure.
I know more beautiful women than Penelope Cruz. I know more beautiful women. See, I'm not getting this one either.
Okay, so I know more beautiful women than Penelope Cruz.
Yeah.
I know more beautiful women than Penelope Cruz does.
Okay.
That too,
yeah.
right?
Okay,
Do you
got
hear
it.
it?
Yeah.
So I know women who are more beautiful than Penelope Cruz,
Mhm.
and I know more beautiful women than Penelope Cruz does.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And our exit ticket for today. What's your favorite word?
Ne'er-do-well.
Okay, interesting. What is that?
Ne'er-do-well is like someone who is lazy and never is doing good.
Okay. What are some synonyms for?
Maybe like a hoodlum or a layabout.
Cool. What type of speech is that?
A noun.
Okay. So my favorite word is maelstrom.
Okay.
Do you know maelstrom?
It's German.
I don't even know if it is.
Oh, it's not?
Maybe.
I thought it was going to be like a German concept.
Maelstrom
something.
is just like chaos. I think
Oh,
the
okay.
word originated. Do you describe the sea in chaos? It's
Yeah.
like maelstrom. The sea's in maelstrom.
I get it.
That's my favorite word. I just like the
good.
spelling.
Yeah.
It seems cool.
Yeah, I like ne'er-do-well also.
Yeah.
It's like
Cool.
N-A apostrophe E-R
Gotcha.
hyphen do hyphen well.
Ne'er-do-well. Like
Ne'er-do-well.
ne'er-do-well?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Cool. I got it now. Very nice. All right. Well, thank you for sharing this very hot day with me today.
Yep.
And we'll go back on Mars to send everyone off. All right. Thanks for
Bye.
watching. Bye. Thank you for watching my video. In the comments below, please write some ways you can create meaningful opportunities for your students and incorporate media into different subject areas. As always, I hope you have a great start to the semester and a great school year. Thanks.